Hello, folks! So, it's time. It's here. Version 13's out, which means that this is all apparently allowed now. So, yeah, let's get on with this whole thing. First of all, disclaimer, because, obviously, pre-release build. So, for anyone looking at the video at this later on, it's not quite out yet. There's still tweaking a bunch of things, but there's a bunch of cool stuff that they've been adding to this, and this is supposed to give a general idea. Obviously, not fully optimized. There's delays going on, all that kind of thing. Just open mind, open your mind, all that kind of thing. Anyway, so apparently the invasion is really hating Poland over here for some reason. Seems very specific, but yeah. So different team from last time. You're funnily enough. Well, the engineer guy isn't here. This is basically your... I don't really know what their role is exactly, like recruitment officer, I guess. I just call her Lady Bradford. And yeah, your scientist guy, I think it's the son of the other scientist guy. It might be the same one. I'm not actually sure. Dude looks older than before, so it's very possible. Everyone apparently named him Snidely, but but yeah, no. So okay, so right off the bat, randomizes campaign names for you if you want. Campaign name Gray Fox, yeah, that'll work. Difficulty options aren't a thing yet, so that's just kind of as it is. Iron Man mode. Sure. And we'll go ahead and get the thing started. So yeah, for anyone unfamiliar with the Xenonauts in general, it's basically a more down-to-earth take on the original XCOM games. The idea is that the logistical stuff is less emphasized, and the interesting stuff is more emphasized. Again, this will vary based on what people want to mess with exactly. Like, personally, one of the twists from Xeno 1, I mean, it's not really a huge twist, it's set in the 70s and whatever else, but one of the big twists was that essentially people can never get psionic powers or whatever else. It's like you get all kinds of new weapon types and whatever else for different roles and shields and things like that. Melee, a lot more melee options. But you do not ever get like psychics running around, which I personally love that, because that's one of those things. Like there's that moment that a lot of things in the genre have, like that moment when everything shifts to where like you're just suddenly so overpowered that nothing can possibly touch you anymore, and that's the tipping point at which it usually becomes boring. Like I'd say, let's see, in XCOM 1, that's usually around when you're getting power armor and psionics and that kind of thing. Like at that point, psionics, blaster launcher, all that kind of thing, you're untouchable at that point. Terror from the Deep, similar type situations. I mean, you could do that whole chain mind control or molecular control thing. So there's always that. Enemy Unknown, it was usually, again, I mean, psionics helped, but they weren't as overpowered, but it was that moment when you got your final armor and weapon tiers that you just demolish everything. So yeah. As to why it suddenly got stuck, I don't know. Give it a quick minute here. Sometimes it gets stuck in 99%, it takes a second to get that last 100. Again, pre-release type stuff. Alright. So they changed the starting quote. They don't mention the alpha base getting nuked away anymore. You may notice a lot of these thingamajigs all over the map here. It just seems like WASD is not in place of the arrow keys just yet. Oh well. So these little blips on the map are stuff that you can build into. There's a lot more local expansion, as it were. So instead of just focusing on coverage, they give you a lot of these little spots where you can build stuff. These are random and appear pretty much constantly as far as I'm aware. But to start off with, I'm going to start near these 5. Funnily enough, I think this is actually relatively close to where Nerves Concord is in the XDiv campaign. There we go. Okay. So, I'm gonna go read through all these because personally I find the setting for Xeno 2 kind of awesome. Anyway, so welcome to the Xenonauts. Imagine you were supposed to be reassigned from this thing, but trust me, you'll be able to do more good here than anywhere else. This organization has been guarding the planet against extraterrestrial attack for decades, and the governments of the world are finally starting to realize just how much they need us. Remember the Iceland incident, which is basically the thing that started Xeno 1? Says that secret missile base was just a cover story. The Americans had found the shattered remains of an alien vessel buried in the ice, and once the Soviets did the math about how valuable extraterrestrial technology might be in a superpower conflict, they mobilized an invasion fleet. The ensuing diplomatic crisis nearly ended in nuclear war. Afterwards, the superpowers agreed to defuse tensions by secretly forming a joint organization to investigate the extraterrestrials and study the recovered artifacts. That was us. We spent more than 50 years doing exactly that, even as we watched our funding dry up and our sponsors go back to fighting amongst themselves. The scale of the threat seems to have convinced both the NATO and Soviet leadership of the need for a unified planetary defense initiative, provided, of course, that the other faction isn't in charge. As both sides consider us tolerable, we're being asked to coordinate the global response to the invasion. You've been chosen to lead the military aspect of our strategy, which it's more like the logistical everything aspect, but whatever. It's one word. This isn't going to be easy, even if we have no real idea what we're up against, although expect Research Division to be in touch with their analysis shortly. But you'll need to find a way to win the war. The fate of the world rests on your shoulders, and the consequences are too grim to contemplate. Who knows, maybe they just want to give everyone cotton candy. Which, I mean, it kind of works out unless you're allergic to cotton candy, which I've actually never heard of being a thing. Anywho, so, start off with 1.5 mil, basically same as the original, and each of these will essentially be a different spot, a different little benefit that you get. So, essentially, one of the mechanics, I don't know if the windows are there for it yet, but every week the Earth gets nuked, more or less. So a city just gets vaporized. They'll constantly try to take out your little benefit points here. They'll constantly be trying to reduce morale. Basically, this is your low morale counter. Personally, I'd love to see these color-coded in some way. Kind of like some Risk kind of situation. Might be kind of nice. I want to say UFO extraterrestrials did that, but anyway. You get agents. You basically send these out to reduce panic somewhere. You can build bases, build aircraft, all that kind of thing. What I'm going to do is my usual start here, which is essentially going to be to build the two closest ones, so -10 panic. The thing is, you want to have these built within the area that you can actually respond. They kind of incorporated both the global aspect of, original XCOM, Xeno, all that kind of thing, with the sort of expanding from one point thing that you see in, in like X2 and all that kind of thing. So, well, that and, I guess, what was it, Afterlight, Aftermath, all those, like where you'd essentially just be trying to expand out from your bases. You wouldn't necessarily be kind of expanding to exactly wherever. Hang on, that's slightly off. Do we have cities yet? Alright. I don't think capitalization is actually taken into account here. It's funny, at one point, there was one version of the game where capital letters would actually crash it. I think that was like a year ago or something. But yeah. So that's going to be all the funds used up. I do like, so far, as far as the start's concerned, I do like that there's more stuff to expand out into. For those that didn't, that never played the original Xenonauts, there was a far bigger emphasis of, like, spend it all right now, do as much as you can, like, your time is freaking limited, everything is coming down on you, you've got no budget, make it work. Like, there was no infinite money thing from XCOM or anything like that, it was just like, go, 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 the whole time. Which, like, that's kind of what sold me on it. There's a really good sense of urgency in it. So, hi there, Shibble. For a moment I thought this was modded Xeno 1. Oh, heck no, this is the fancy new stuff, which just hit version 13, so we're technically allowed to stream it now. Which I hope is actually accurate information and they're not upset with me. In which case, if they happen to see this after the fact, I'm sorry, I had the best of intentions, this is awesome and I want to show it off. Anywho, so we don't really have too much panic going on. You basically start off with 20 to 30 panic all over the place. This increases by 10, like I said, every week as soon as somebody's hit by a space laser. So yeah, more of that urgency comes up. I'm just going for these two because they're the closest. UFOs will try to attack those. And okay. Base-wise, similar to what you'd end up seeing in a lot of... I wonder if you're actually limited to 6 bases this time around. That actually makes sense. I'm okay with that. But yeah, so got different types of stuff going on. You do have training, which you end up seeing in a lot of mods and newer games of the genre and all that kind of thing. There's Lady Bradford. It's basically here to recruit people, as far as I'm aware. Whatever, they're snarky. There we go. Training just kind of happens in the background, by the way. There was a point at which you could actually train everybody to specific skills. And yeah, that was so busted. You could do some crazy stuff with that. Like, literally the optimal thing. Like, there was an early build where you basically could train everybody specifically for turn units. And there was no like percentage-based turn unit cost, so you could functionally create units that'll just sweep the entire map in one turn. It was so fun. Anyhow, so yeah, as far as options go, modular armor was a big focus of theirs for this one. So even the ones you start off with, you have options for heavier or lighter armor. Essentially, this will be you kind of more or less start off with a jackal armor from the original. Rebreather apparently affects accuracy. I'm not actually sure whether that's fully in there or not, but we'll just play like it is. I mean, obviously, gases are not going to be a thing for a little while in the game anyway. And a little bit to go still. In most cases, you're going to want everybody with armor. I actually don't know why they start them off with so much ammo. You rarely even need to reload in the early missions. But apparently, they really, really want to prepare. So, yeah. Just like Xeno 1, a lot of your stuff is very good right off the bat. You actually start off with a lot more options this time around. However, you still don't start with shields. I don't know if you can actually reaction fire with knives and things like that. It's something I've seen pop up, and it's something I've asked for in the Discord and things like that, but it really, really would be nice to have reaction fire melee, but I don't know if that's a thing yet. Do you start off with the grenades? Yeah, you do start off with grenades. So yeah, starting loadout for this one, you previously only had pistol, shotty, rifle, sniper, HMG. Rocket launcher is replaced with a heavy launcher, which is essentially you start off with grenade and smoke variants. There's a bunch of other options that open up for that as time goes on, and they've actually asked multiple times what kind of crazy ammo people want to see for it. So we'll see if something happens there. Generally speaking, ballistic LMG is good for keeping stuff down. Snipers rarely miss. Rifles are just good overall. Shotguns are almost never not going to kill at close range, and SMG is just kind of there as a secondary weapon if you want it. I'm actually not sure why it's there as a primary. You can dual wield SMGs if you want. Weirdly enough, you can't use an SMG with a shield though. So yeah, that's mostly the difference between one and two-handed things. So yeah, if there's any questions anybody has at any point, just let me know. Cause yeah. Trying to show stuff off. I'm gonna get rid of some of this guy's stuff. We're actually gonna go for something a little bit different here because you may be kind of confused at one particular thing here. Now, let me see if I can find them here. So for your flashbangs, I don't think it's actually going to say what they do here. The flashbangs are now a guaranteed suppression instead of what they used to be before, which was basically a high suppression with a little bit of stun damage. Why that matters is because previously, if you wanted to get a capture on your first mission, if you wanted to, just go in there and rush capture your first couple units, you could do that very easily by just cornering the very first shuttle you ran into, and just like shotgun stun beanbags. Funnily enough, that's actually a thing in X Division. Kind of, all the shotguns come with split stun damage. So if you end up hitting them with them, it's like every other shot will do stun damage. So if you hit them with stun damage first, you basically have a stun shotgun. And anywho, so yeah, it was a very nice thing if you wanted to speed up your early game to just chuck a crapload of flashbangs into the UFO. They couldn't run anywhere. They usually just hit in the back there, and usually, if you did it right, you ended up knocking them out before you blew up the generator in the center of it. In this one, you have to go for batons. I'm actually not sure why you'd ever go for the knife over the baton, but yeah, it's there, I suppose. Medkits aren't going to be something I'm too worried about keeping a hold of, as long as I've got some units with medkits. Yeah, snipers are good with SMGs, just because, you know, a little bit of extra pop to them. Again, not sure why they give them so much ammo. That's one of those things I hope they hope... Okay, I hope they add an option to just make your default loadouts before you start the game, because I would really love that. I know it's a weird gripe, but it's something that bugged me in the original. It's something that I hope that it kind of bugged me with this one. I just want to have all my standard loadouts before the game starts. Because yeah, a lot of the default loadouts are pretty meh. So I usually end up just starting every campaign by just going and messing with those. So this will work. Generally speaking, I like to go for just flashbangs and quick burst things. Grenades aren't going to be super handy right now because they're going to blow up whatever they end up detonating under, obviously. So we'll just replace all of them. We'll need more of those as time goes on, once Androns come in, all that kind of stuff. But in the early game, you definitely don't need the kittle weapons as much. You can get a bunch of captures out of it. You can get some extra funding, but okay. Can you rename people yet? Yeah, you totally can. Okay. This wasn't in there last time. Alright, we got Evan, we got Shivel. And again, pre-release build, so expect stuff to look a little clunky. Hi there, Helios. How's it going? Sorry, I was having a little bit of confusion, making sure I wasn't getting your name wrong there. Alright. And yeah, XCOM Files is everything. It's pretty handy stuff. Yeah, I will say though, I've never seen shotguns as satisfying as XDiv. Like, they basically come with a beanbag thing built in, and they come with, they have a chance, as long as they pierce armor, they have a chance to roll slow damage, which basically means they shoot into turn units. So, functionally speaking, they have a shock and awe effect, as they were calling it. It's pretty neat. Alright. Gonna have all the names in here. Yeah, it's supposed to be with an S, but whatever. It's gonna be with a Z this time. He's feeling edgy. So, also one more quick thing to kind of explain here. Basically, the armor that they're doing here, the way that it works, you have, if I'm understanding this right, 20 health that's added from this particular Kevlar suit. But the armor is only added up to a certain threshold. Like, certain weapons will just ignore armor. But yeah, this is essentially a separate HP pool that stacks up on top of it to some degree. I don't remember exactly how the rules went right now, but you know, they're there all the same. So yeah. Trying to think who I last renamed people after. I'm gonna feel bad because I guarantee there will be people I forgot. And I'm doing these in no particular order, so congratulations, Dagar, you apparently got a pixie cut today. Feeling snazzy. Who else? There we go. Oh, and by the way, vehicles in this one, instead of being the 9-tile thing, they're basically like a much more customizable shiv. We'll get to that. They're actually a very early unlock. As you may notice, we haven't covered them yet. So there we go. Invasion analysis. So, although extraterrestrial craft have been regular visitors to our skies as of late, apparently with their giant golf tees, the scale of alien activity in the past few days has been unprecedented. What was formerly no more than a single ship each month has become multiple craft in a single day. Additionally, the limited evidence we have suggests the ships themselves have grown larger. You'd think they would have reacted way sooner. The reason for the sudden upsurge in activity is unclear. Extraterrestrial craft are notoriously difficult to track using conventional air or radar technology, no doubt a major factor in the inept response to the invasion so far, and inferring their location via atmospheric disturbances they create is not possible in the empty vacuum of space. We have thus never been able to discern the size or composition of their force in orbit around our planet, which is funny, because in Xenonauts 1 they're like, yeah, there's a absolute crapload of them up there, we just used all the telescopes, and yeah, we're screwed. Thankfully they can't come in just yet, so that's nice. Thankfully, the heavy losses our sponsor nations have suffered in recent days appears to have made them rather more receptive to my requests for access to their classified surveillance satellites. A number of these possesses the sort of specialized sensor that can detect the infrared emissions of extraterrestrial vessels. A wavelength that, unfortunately, is quickly scattered and absorbed by air. The scans reveal only a single extraterrestrial signal present in our system, a previously unknown object of significant mass in high Earth orbit that has now been classified as U1. Perplexingly, the alien craft leaving our atmosphere do not attempt to dock with this structure. Rather, they appear to simply blink out of existence entirely. Frankly, I'm at a loss to explain this phenomenon, so they just dropped off their giant space dildo and felt like they would say hi. Attempting a more detailed scan of U1 revealed two main points of interest. Actually, it looks like just one giant point on there. The other bit just kind of looks like the Space Needle. Firstly, it appears to be a tapered spire, approximately a kilometer in length. How did nobody see this? Secondly, the extraterrestrials are in possession of powerful energy weapons, and we now have a basic set of data about their method of action. However, I shall leave it to the Operations Division to inform our sponsors about the fate of their satellite. Your immediate priority should be to shoot down and capture a UFO. We will only truly begin to understand once we can study them. Neat. And so then we develop robots. So what do you guys think? Is this the guy from the first game? Like, is he just way older now, or is this his son? I mean, he still has the gun, so it apparently kind of looks like he's... Looking at that, it's either one of those, like, Eastern European-looking ones, or... Because previously had, like, a 1911 on there. Maybe it is the same. It seems like the back of it's different. Like, I'm no gun nut, but it appears like the back of it's different. I could be completely wrong on that. Whatever. Anyway, maybe it's the same guy, just older. This is... The original took place in 1970, so... Assuming they were in their 20s, this dude would have to be... It's like, what, 45? I mean, it's believable, I guess. Hi there, Dust Once. Saw your One Vision video, and it's so long, I just want to know, does it have any randomizer toggles? Sort of. What kind of randomization are you looking for? Like, there's ways to make stuff happen. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. So you had a football stadium asteroid pass Earth, a kilometer-sized ship that's trying to hide itself. Yeah. True. True. Yeah, it's funny. They're like, every time they come up in the news, they're like, oh, the thing barely passed us. It's only within like 3 billion miles, which, I mean, yeah, obviously that is, in the grand scheme of things, pretty darn close, but man, oh man, that is a really long distance. It's like, it's one of those ones where the first reaction is the usual, like, oh, that's not close at all, but technically it is. Anywho. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with the assumption that it's still Snidely in the science lab there. I feel like the starting circle actually got bigger. Now, due to the way that you can start the game off now, I'm hoping that once, maximum difficulty ends up becoming a thing, I'm hoping that it'll be less like it was in the original, because there were a lot of cases like where you'd start in an insane run or something like that, and you'd essentially get nothing in the first month. It's like, well, I guess I might as well restart now, because nothing landed here. So, hopefully it isn't that. I mean, it only applied if you were doing one of the really hard difficulties, but still. It's just that you ended up getting so behind because you weren't starting on all your research, because you almost didn't have time to research things at that point. Now, with the start that I usually go for here, as much as I like the scout platform, that thing's friggin' awesome. I don't have the money to actually build one right now. We'll just do it off of our first crash. So we'll get there. Get some coffee while we wait. Orbital bombardment. There it is. The space dildo is active. Approximately 2 hours ago, we registered a massive energy discharge emanating from the U-1, the extraterrestrial station in orbit high above our planet. Why didn't anyone look at it and think, hey, that's a giant gun? At roughly the same time, reports began to circulate about the annihilation of a significant urban population center, with eyewitnesses reporting a column of light igniting the sky. I suspect one does not need a formal scientific education to establish a connection. The pattern of destruction visible in images and news footage suggests the weapon is most likely some sort of exceptionally powerful pulsed laser. The method of action of such a device is not to incinerate the target, but instead to superheat the surrounding air to such a degree that it unleashes a devastating pressure shockwave on everything in the vicinity. Essentially, the effect is akin to detonating a moderately sized nuke atop the area, minus the lingering radiation. Unfortunately, this tragedy is about to repeat in short order. Energy levels aboard the U-1 have already begun rising, and my projections suggest the weapon will be ready to fire in approximately 10 days. We have no realistic method of defending our cities against such attacks, nor any practical manner of striking back at the station. A salvo of nearly 100 ICBMs launched by our sponsor nations were disintegrated before they even left our upper atmosphere. That's really cool. Nevertheless, we must maintain perspective. This weapon may be a stark demonstration of technological superiority, but it is unlikely to affect the military campaign in any meaningful manner. The lack of penetrative force means any hardened facility such as our own has little to fear. Indeed, at ranges greater than a kilometer, even armored vehicles are likely to survive largely unharmed. Though it may be good at destroying cities, it is only good at destroying cities. As our species is not particularly short of cities, nor indeed humans, we are logically capable of withstanding this bombardment for many years. However, being vaporized from orbit is likely to negatively affect the morale of the citizenry in our sponsor nations. If we do not wish them to be bombarded into submission, we must maintain their faith in our planetary defense initiative by demonstrating continual progress against the extraterrestrials. Okay, so basically what they're saying is, yeah, this thing will... Oh, it's actually plus 20. It used to be plus 10, so yeah. Good bit of panic now. And I'm hoping, again, that these are going to be color-coded at some point. Maybe give you a little meter or something. They said that they're working on something to make it look better. But yeah, so... Whoa. 1.586 million. So they basically took care of more than an entire campaign of Xenonauts 1 in a single second. Oof. That's okay, we'll send an agent there. Where? Right, Latin America? Okay. What do you mean no agents? Did I accidentally send them to the wrong country? Awesome. I accidentally sent them to Europe, apparently. Alright. See, something like an FFT randomizer, random allies, event, enemy formations, job, etc. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. So basically, there's options for that. There's an item that removes all level requirements, which, based off how the game spawns, will functionally randomize equipment and things like that. I have that in the cheat section of the One Vision guide. I haven't played around with it too much, though. I've been meaning to test it out more recently, actually. When it comes to that kind of stuff, it's not likely to be possible, at least not without a ton of investment from a few people. Basically, the entire game takes every single fight, every single scenario, who lived, died, and what level range you're spawning in at, and just has them in a long list, right? And basically, every single unit, every single skill, everything else is locked in. So somebody would have to essentially take all of those hex codes, put them into a giant sheet, essentially get a randomizer that'll read each one of those things, logically randomize them. And yeah, it's going to be a while before that exists. I know of a modder that was interested in doing a randomizer, and right now I know of a couple people that are charting out all of this stuff, so I was hoping to have all of them connected at some point. Anywho, let's see. Lore-wise, is the space dildo actively tracked? Yes, it's just kind of up there. It would be cool to see it as part of the UI, actually. Okay, so that thing is really putting in work. I'm not actually sure why it just triggered its effect 3 times in a row, but not going to complain. I don't know if that's actually intentional or a bug, but yeah. We can't do anything with this base just yet. We'll need a little bit more funding for that. I don't know why we haven't gotten a UFO yet, because that would be real nice to have. Yes, finally. We're just going to launch one. I actually start off with the MiG this time. See, yeah, it's already over land. Now this theme. Tell me this air theme is not the best. So good. Like overall, fighting-wise, a bunch of stuff's changed here. Basically, you have a constantly moving zone instead of being on a just static grid. I'm gonna leave the missiles on, or at least one of the missiles on to start off with. Because of a funny thing that, yeah, they're actually able to dodge right off the bat this time around. Same thing applies with turning down speeds to turn a little bit faster. And yeah, you can do the same old lag launch trick that you did in the original. And the thing went down near Italy, so let's go ahead and get that then. Same thing as before, you have the options to airstrike it for some cash right away, or you can send out the dropship. If you're wondering why the dropship is an airplane, while it clearly showed that it was a helicopter, that's a long story. But yeah, Dice One, just keep watching. It'll show up. Believe me, I want one of those to be actively available for all of it too. Regularly seeing any kind of opportunities to try to somehow connect people to make that happen. I'm not very good at the technical side of stuff myself, but dang it, I can I can go and bug people to make it happen, hopefully. Alright. But yeah, so, to kind of briefly cover this, in the original version of this, the airship that you see in loading missions. Wow. Brain, thanks for the thoughts in the correct order there. The dropship that you see in the loading screen there, in a big old, like, transport plane looking thing, this right here, this is what the dropship used to be. However, the thing was a frickin' death trap. They redesigned it several times, and then everyone's just like, please, can we just have the helicopter back? This thing is completely infeasible. Because yes, it does give a nice vibe to everything visually, but seriously, it would start off, everyone's open on both sides, and there were versions that tried to give cover, but it just wouldn't function properly. But yeah, you just basically start the mission, turn one unit, and suddenly half the team is dead because everyone's just sitting right in the open. So yeah, it was a little bit dicey. Personally, would have just gone with openable doors on the sides. I'm not really sure why they didn't do that. But, oh well. Like, I think the feeling they were going for was something similar to the Terror from the Deep one. Excuse me, what is the superior theme? What is this? Yeah, as soon as you were posting that. Oh, is this gonna be the XCOM, the War of the Chosen, or Legacy Pack, whatever, redo? Oh, the air game? No, the best... Hang on. Where was it? Yeah, I love the music in this one, though. Where was it? No, if you want to have like pure sexiness, here you go. That one right there. Now, unfortunately, we apparently have landed our helicopter so hard the cabbage is coming out of the floor, but that's fine. So, unlike Xeno 1, you know, full movement and all that kind of thing, you do have the old Chinook back. See if that sticks around. Just so you know, the AI isn't necessarily done at this point, so if you see them doing some really brain-dead stuff, don't worry about it. Like, it's literally just placeholder AI for now. As far as I'm aware, I don't think any of that's changed in recent versions. So you don't have them doing all the crazy snipey stuff they did in Xeno 1. Like the whole staying exactly one tile out of your range and sniping everyone with a frickin' cannon. I mean, everything about the music from this one just gives me a really strong X-Files theme, I don't know. Or, feel. So what about the transfer built-in smoke grenades? You could decide where to deploy. Apparently that was also considered at one point, but it was just buggy. Like the way that it spawns in, like this is not spawned in. It's essentially the way that Xeno 1 and 2 handled everything is just there's a map, there is like a separate version of the map for each dropship. The maps are not randomly generated; they're static. So yeah, there's that kind of thing. As I understand, this time around there is a certain degree of randomization. So while the map pool is somewhat limited right now, there's going to be some randomization as time goes on. Apparently one of the locals got himself shot. Also, the game does tend to look a lot better than I have it set at right now. This is its lowest setting just because I didn't want to answer the question of why is there a little bit of a delay every time you do something. The nice red square letting you know that the game is trying to correct itself. Alright. So like moves like this, you're probably going to get away with in Xeno 1. The whole leaving somebody in an alleyway thing. Because they would get dead real quick. Now, I'm sure the AI will be just as insane this time around. They weren't necessarily impressively smart or anything, they were just really good at finding opportunities. May notice movement is a lot more limited than an X-Div. As you do. They kept the whole thing of spacebar pausing your movement if you ever need to do that. The friggin looks bad. I mean, the field? Yeah, it's because it's missing a bunch of stuff that would be there normally. Like this normally looks a good bit better if you have the graphics turned up. I just don't wanna have any jitter. Like personally, I'd prefer to have a game look janky than play janky. And on a PC that needs its RAM replaced as soon as that decides to get here, you know. There's that. And it looks like we're starting with Sabs. There's going to be a bit more of a problem to capture. Actually, there was a hilarious bug in earlier versions. I'm sure it's gone now. But essentially, if you hit anything with any stun damage whatsoever, you could just go and immediately hit them with a rocket launcher and they'd be fine. Like, no, they're captured. They technically took more stun damage overall. And yeah, both your weapons can be used at any point, even if they're both two-handed. The swinging animation's pretty flaccid right now. He's dead. Or barely alive, okay. Go for it. Alright, he's down. I would expect that animation to change. They've been making a lot of tweaks to the animations to make everybody look a little bit more, I guess, in the moment, for lack of a better term. So yeah, I would expect Baby's first baseball bat animation to go away. sure it won't really be missed. It's about as placeholder as it gets. And since it's going on Xeno mechanics instead of X Division, you can pretty fairly safely assume that reactions are actually going to bother kicking in. Right. Or at least will kick in on people that aren't holding a shotgun or holding a knife. Now, actually, one thing I meant to test. There was previously a bug with a grenade launcher where if you would launch it anywhere near the hedges, the thing would just be guaranteed to backfire. At least he's suppressed. Saw this really good good picture somebody had put up. It was an accurate description of the current state of the world and all that, and there was just a suppressed jellyfish lying in a hospital bed. Can I have inventory, please? Thank you. Alright. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. It actually bothers to give you your armor info this time around. That wasn't really much of a thing in Xeno 1. It's just you either died or didn't. Also seems like the average is above 40 health rather than below it. Alright, if this guy has a medkit, he can drop it. He doesn't. Well, I suppose this whole not having a medkit thing's backfiring on me right now, huh? As to why they didn't reduce this to a 3-tile item, I don't know. In vanilla, it did kind of make sense because the stun baton was pretty OP. In this one, it's still kind of dicey. Also, he's kind of completely out of points here. It's gonna get so weird. Trying to get used to all of this. Used to X-Div with your million potential moves per turn. Alright, let's go pick that up. It's more important than dealing with Lizard right now. He's on the ground anyway. Seems like the medkits are far more effective than they used to be. Kinda doubt any scratching hits would be useful at this point anyway. You would just regenerate it. There's some very metallic placeholder barn doors. And away it goes. Well, at least show me how it happened. Not sure why I consider that hidden movement. Got shot. One nice thing from this too, nice little quality of life improvement. You'll still see stuff. You basically can see everything everybody saw at that round. So that's not as much of a worry. Oh, you can still do the medkit loading trick. Or the TU loading trick, if you want to call it that. Ooh, actually got new looks for that now. Not sure about the little spiky hairdo, but I suppose that'll make more sense over time. Alright. So this guy should take a couple bursts. Nice accuracy. Very nice. Insert your, that's XCOM baby quote right here. There we go, that's more like it. Yeah, so it seems Point Blank is gonna have a little bit of an issue there. Can't tell if that's intentional or not. Seems like he mostly just completely whiffed his shot. So did you play Phoenix Point? Yeah, wasn't really a fan. Just seemed a little derpy. I was basically playing the pre-release stuff up until they offered a, up until the point where they started offering refunds. I was like, yeah, please, no. And then just went and funded this. It's like literally immediately just turned around and got this instead. They've got way more faith in this franchise. It's because the devs seem to have their hearts in the right place. They don't always get it right, but you know what? There's a dedicated mod community behind it as well. I'm sure there's plenty of mods coming out for Phoenix Point too. I don't know. I just didn't really care for it. Yeah, it's a bummer. As I heard somebody put it, it makes you wonder how much of UFO defense was a happy accident. It's like, did they actually intend a lot of this stuff, or did they just not know and, you know, kind of rolled dice the right way? Come on. So a lot of formulas got reworked for this one as well. I think this guy should hopefully make it through one more round. I believe bleeding wounds are... I think they're capped at 4 per round? 4 damage or so? Something like that. So hopefully you don't have the insanity that was like, oh yeah, they're gonna bleed out for 37 damage next round. We'll see. Kind of low on medkits anyway, I wasn't expecting to take that many hits. So we got a completely new action system for the new XCOMs. What is it? It's the same, but your action... we have 4 actions instead of 4. Yeah. Pretty much. It didn't really seem to have a purpose, is the thing. Really not a good idea sending this guy in without backup, but... Okay. Didn't immediately die, so that's a plus. I will say this one seems to do a pretty good job of giving you replacement units, so you don't feel like you're floundering. Xeno 1 basically started you off with some better units, and then it was really difficult to train them back up, but that was part of the whole dread of the setting. Not sure how much of that was design or accident, but, you know. Who's got medkits these days? Is it just the one guy? We seriously might have just brought the one medkit. Whoops. Alright, Regdren, let's get you patched up then. I think I left her on the ground over here. Go take your ground medicine. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so bear in mind this is complete inference here, but my understanding was that a lot of the ideas of this one were attempting to convey some of the same feelings and themes of the X Division mod and things like that, wherein, just kind of giving you a more involved global feeling and all that kind of thing, feeling like the locals are doing more, which is why for like aerial bombardment missions, the locals will send out some crappy jets to help you, or you'll see more ground folks around, or the whole sending out agents and dealing with panic in other countries kind of functionally serving as a cheerleader for the world type of situation. So, that part's fun. I like it. I think it was specifically that whole keeping up morale worldwide over most other things that really spoke to me about this mod. Game. There we go. Turns out there's a difference. Alright, can you get to that thing before you die? I don't know if there are revival systems in this game as of yet, but we're about to find out. Insufficient 2s to move item. Now you may notice these UFOs are looking nothing like the thing we shot down. Yeah, these are placeholder. Originally these were the designs they were going to go with, and then there was a pretty much universal what is this kind of situation. And so yeah, at this point it's they're getting replaced. Also, you might be happy, if you've played Xeno 1, to hear that these hedges are fully destructible. They don't leave that weird lump that you can't pass behind. I'm surprised mods never figured out a way to get rid of those, because them suckers got so many people killed off, it's ridiculous. Alright. Only good thing about PP was the aiming system. If you take away the target's twitching and swaying. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't have them freeze in place. But even then, a good manual aiming system, they kept saying like it was revolutionary and whatever else. You know what had a fantastic manual aiming system and plenty of destruction to go with it? Frickin' Silent Storm, like, what, 2 decades ago? I have yet to see a game pull off, realistic aiming and whatever else as well as that one did. And it honestly just feels really dirty that that thing never got another sequel. I mean, I specifically remember playing through Sentinels, and there was that one mission where you're defending a fortress. It's like manual aiming at where shots came out of the woods, and you got like your mech suits up front, and they're going and wrecking stuff, get your snipers in the back, and they're trying to pick off wherever they can, but they can't get clear line of sight because a lot of them are using stealth, and it's like, oh, it's so cool! It's so cool! Man. How did that not get more people? Or more stuff? Yeah, Silent Storm was good. Hell yeah, it was good. Punch a hole through a wall in a high caliber and shoot through it. Or those amazing moments of like, oh, I hear a guy on the other side of the wall, let me put this LMG through a frickin' nail hole. And just take out the wall and half the building with that guy. Like, my favorite shot in in anything ever was this one time I had, I think it was... what was his name? The German, kind of Austrian-sounding guy that's, we swear, legally distinct from Arnold Schwarzenegger. That guy. Like, he's basically just sitting there with his gigantic machine gun. He had like a Bren gun or something, and sitting, and there was this one mid-game map where there was like a medium durability wall and then some stairs going up it. And he was sitting at the bottom of the stairs, and I see there's a bunch of units that are going down the staircase on the opposite side of that wall. So I just have him fire at the wall randomly. Punches through, knocks 2 guys down, hits an explosive barrel behind him, takes out another 2. It was so ridiculous. Like, this is just beautiful. This is just pure, unmitigated carnage. And it has never been done as well since. Like, hell, just remake it in that engine. I don't know why everyone needs to make new engines. Just do that. So look at that calculated nonsense right there. Putting them down with exactly enough points to still take a shot. Actually, I think this was one of the few things I disagreed with XDiv overall design-wise. The expensive crouching. I feel like it could have been, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 or so, but 10 is often enough to get a unit killed because you couldn't move them in time. Which is, yes, the intended result, but still. Gator, yeah, there we go. And most of the time you can still pathfind through it without issue. Yeah. It's awesome. Now, as before, there's multiple options for actually handling this right now. Now, we could either have a couple of units gun down the door and continue firing through, or we could use the door trick, which funnily enough still works in this one. If you place somebody in front of the door, they can't pathfind through it, so they can't open it. I'm hoping this is something that the AI actually gets fixed as time goes on, because it is hilariously abusable. I love to make use of that trick in Insane all the time in Xeno. Just because it's so dang good. So let's go ahead and pile everybody up here. Just storm into it. I mean, hell, it might have been an intentional design thing. Considering originally in UFO defense and stuff like that, you'd stack everybody up by the door. They would just open it, take a shot, take out whoever was outside, step outside, completely ignore your reaction fire, shoot at one guy, turn around, shoot another guy, turn around, shoot the guy behind him, turn around, shoot the guy off on another building, and then run back inside. It's like, oh yeah, this is your basic sectoid, have fun with that. What happened? Why is everyone dead? A little gray space monkey came and took everybody out. We don't know what happened. Well, this is a very busy cockpit. Alright. One. Oh, that wasn't supposed to... Probably should have gone for the other one. Stunned the first one. Can you step that way? No. Suppressed is good. We might be able to take him. Because these are classed as the non-combatant variants. So we can do stuff with that. Baton? God, it's so wimpy. Please, oh please replace this animation. It looks so lame. There's no way they're not replacing that animation. No way. Now, I don't think we'll end up seeing the whole dismantling for fibers system that we saw in XDiv. Obviously, stun animation still takes a while. At least they still don't show up as alive on the ground, so that's something. Speaking of destruction strategy, have you played Men of War? No, I have not. Actually, I haven't even heard that one. Wait a minute. Is that boat thing? I remember there being some kind of, like a ye olde Imperial Age boat war kind of simulator with really detailed physics. And that sounds like the name for something like that. Hey, let me Google that real quick while this is loading. Huh. That apparently applies to a lot of different games. Oof. So, World War II RTS? Yeah, that sounds about right. It is Men of War, okay. Assault Squad, I'm familiar with it, but not... I haven't played it. A lot of this stuff, so I have a relative that was really, really, really into a lot of this kind of stuff. It's like historical, realistic, whatever war sims were their jam 24/7. Like what was it? It's like Close Combat, Close Quarters, Close Contact. I think was the name of the series that they liked the most. Funnily enough, there was a lot of Battlefield 1942 and all that in there. Assault Squad 2, there we go. Oh, might be a different Assault Squad then. Or the same, I don't know. Also, Regdrin apparently failed his 46 whatever % chance to come back alive. So we need a new person. Got the probe data core, got the Sebi corpse. Apparently it's just Sebi. There's 3 captured civilian, not a distinction between the fighter and non-fighter variants. Okie dokie. Maybe I've just been playing too much Xdiv. Dude, I'm so glad that run's almost over. It better be almost over. I'm gonna be really annoyed if it gets to the next part and it's like, no, you need 5 more things. See, by the way, cool little change in this one. Originally, you basically got your researches as soon as you finish the mission, and this one your dropship actually has to bring them back. I don't know if that means that they'll try to shoot down your dropship before you can bring the stuff back at some point. I really hope not. Anyway, we'll start with magnetic weapons. There's the lizard. The reptilian life form known as the civilian is an imposing physical specimen, measuring roughly 2 meters tall and weighing over 150 kilograms. Dang, how tall is Snidely here if this guy is 2 meters? Anyway, unless I'm... No, that'd be like 7 or 8 feet, wouldn't it? Or 8 or 9 feet. At any rate, it appears to be warm-blooded with sharp claws and savage teeth that imply a carnivorous diet and predatory origin. Much of the body mass can be attributed to the unusually heavy skeleton and tough scaled hide of the creature, which in places is almost an inch thick. The remainder is predominantly raw muscle, implying these creatures possess alarming strength. Unsurprisingly, this hulking physique makes civilians rather difficult to kill. Furthermore, there are rumors circulating amongst your soldiers that these civilians possess some form of rapid regenerative ability, something I cannot entirely rule out, given almost 10% of the subject's blood consists of a mixture of powerful coagulants and unspecialized stem cells. You'll need to complete the unenviable task of capturing a live specimen before we can verify the facts of the matter. Yeah, I mean, we did that. In any case, the remarkable physical attributes of a civilian may be offset by their relative lack of intelligence and dexterity. The brain is approximately 20% smaller than that of a person, and fearsome claws capable of disemboweling a grown man in a single swipe are likely less useful when it comes to delicate tasks such as operating firearms. The tactical awareness and marksmanship of these creatures is thus decidedly mediocre. Finally, I should highlight the questions possessed by fundamental civilian biology. They too possess a form of DNA, but this bears only a passing resemblance to terrestrial DNA structures and is indeed equally far removed from scion DNA. We haven't even encountered them yet. Yet this implies these species originated on entirely different worlds. They nonetheless share improbable numbers of physiological features with one another that imply a deeper connection. Perhaps the mystery will unravel with time. For now, you should be aware of these fearsome reptilian creatures. Though primitive, they are undeniably deadly. And UFO probe, which will look a lot more similar to the to Xeno 1. Bit more insecty looking. Let's see, it's really detailed up to tracking each soldier's and vehicle's individual. Thank you, Darkest Dungeon over there. Individual inventory, which also gives you large battles and the ability to assume control of any unit. That sounds like Urban Assault. I wonder if there's any relation by chance. Do you know if they made a DOS game called Urban Assault? Because that was basically the premise of that one too. That you had this massive war going on, and you were going and manufacturing and sending out units to this whole giant thing, and at any point you could just go down and play as one of them. It's pretty sweet. Alright, accept a report. It's funny that there's no option to deny the report. Also, I kind of meant to read about the probe, but oh well. Brain said no. Also, these two do not appear to have a separation between their two dealies here. Odd. Very odd indeed. Also, I can't help but notice that we didn't actually get any money from the UFO. What's that about? I guess we're not exactly selling parts to pay the rent anymore, are we? Okay, Serbo is recovered. Magnetic weapons. Variety of different battlefield magnetic weapons employed by the extraterrestrials, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses, but all appear to utilize the same fundamental coil gun acceleration technology to achieve their effect. The design of these weapons is relatively straightforward. The barrel of each magnetic gun contains a linear arrangement of powerful electromagnetic rings through which the round is accelerated, each one flipping polarity as the round passes by. The timing of this process is accurate to the microsecond, allowing the weapon to maintain a rate of fire comparable to modern firearms while generating much higher muzzle velocities and lower recoil. The ammunition employed by the extraterrestrials contains a slender thread of strongly magnetic neodymium. Dymium? I don't know. Surrounded by a steel jacket, the shape and ballistic properties of these rounds bears a striking resemblance to that of conventional 5.56 or 7.62. Ammunition and the wounds they inflict appear superficially similar to those inflicted by human firearms, although laboratory analysis could detect a signature traces of neodymium. I think is how that's pronounced. This is almost certainly intentional. Perhaps Operations Division may wish to look more closely at the recent slew of mysterious assassinations. Unfortunately, these weapons are not easily turned against their creators. Their firing mechanisms appear to contain DNA locks that are relatively simple to defeat in a laboratory setting. However, I suspect the careful application of extraterrestrial tissue samples to the trigger arrangement may be rather beyond your soldiers on the battlefield. Although we are some ways from being able to manufacture electromagnetics of the strength or efficiency required to construct our own infantry portable coil guns, I see no reason why we could not design some form of magnetic accelerator for our current ballistic weapons utilizing the knowledge gained from studying them. Well, that's pretty neat. Accelerated ballistic weaponry. So, by the way, this actually does a sort of XDiv-like thing where there's a bigger split between ballistic and energy. It was a thing in Xeno 1, but it's not something that most folks probably realized. Like, where you kept making better and better laser guns, and then things started getting resistant to lasers, and that's where you end up getting mag at the very end. Although mostly what it translated to was you just rush mag, and then everything goes completely flat, because it's crazy strong. Alright, unless they move to Germany from Ukraine between Urban, the first game, and the series, doubt it. Okay, I didn't know Urban was actually... I mean, I guess it stands to reason that Urban is actually a place. It was Urban in terms of... what's it? Like, it was literally just Urban, like URBAN. And the idea was that it was just one giant cityscape in an endless, almost Command and Conquer-esque war. So each side was just this functionally this, like, giant manufacturing satellite thing that just kept spewing out units. Ooh, London got evaporated. Yeesh. 5.1 that time. Well, they're at least slightly upset by that. Kinda feel like we should be doing more right now. Maybe send us some money, guys? Agent recruited. Have recruited an additional agent. Okay. And there's a scout. Launch it. Huh. Alright, that's cool. You can actually attack landed craft this time around. Ooh, and by the way, here. So, like, if you have locals in the area, they'll actually send out jets to help you. It's pretty cool. In fact, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna see how they end up handling things. Come, my minions, deal with it. Actually, the cool thing is the Falcons are the plane they used to start off with. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I love it. Although, wait a minute. Do we not get it if they shot it down? It might have been over the water, actually. Oh, no, no, no. It's because they were attacking... Okay, they were attacking the thing. That's why. Oh, and it's not over land, though. Crap. So I think what I'm going to do is going to launch everything at it, and then let this one back off. Alright, turn your cannon off. And get the hell out. So yeah, 52% damage. Just run, man. What are you doing? No! Run! I have no idea what just happened there. That's fine, we got another one. Now, do you actually lose the plane, or is it still rebuilt? Is the question, huh? Because originally you would, like, even if you lost your plane, you would still... Okay, yeah, no, it's being replaced. Tail until over land. And now it's over a tiny island. Do some flippies for the hell of it. Wait a minute. There we go. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the modular thing, you can actually customize your jets and stuff like that later on too. All that kind of neat stuff. Probably should go ahead and take a airstrike on that one, but we want the data core. Let's see, we need a name here. It'll be Sunnif. Our first HMG guy. Interestingly, they actually seem to... No, wait. He's not a new recruit. He's not a new recruit at all. And no reason to have a pistol with that one. Go ahead and give you one of those. Take away that, take away that. You will never reload this. Because it's just ridiculously beefy even as it is. What texture pack are you using? Like it was really made WoW? No, this is Xeno 2. This is the pre-release build. Somebody was joking about that earlier, so I wasn't sure if you were serious. Oh, it's all good. No, I'm sorry for the awkward response there. No, basically, yeah, it was joked about earlier that it does look fairly similar, which I mean it should. Functionally speaking, Xeno 2 is a alternate take on Xeno 1. It's still the same setting. It's just 30 years later, give or take. Actually, wait, 70s to 2015? No, 40 years later. Let's see. As long as the UX works, it's fine to replicate it. Yeah, it all works. It's actually... It seems like they had a lot of different ideas going into this one. A lot of them have kind of boiled down to like similar ideas of Xeno 1 plus blank. However, the main thing that I think is just a massive differentiation that I absolutely love is the setting still. Simply because, yeah, this time around you are, for lack of a better way to put it, you're kind of a cheerleader for the world instead of being the one and only thing trying to stop anything. There's a much bigger emphasis on essentially just being back up there. Every time you make something, the rest of the world adopts it, except this time it's actually intentional instead of Russia stealing it. And yeah, a lot of animations and stuff are placeholder. Again, just bear that in mind. Because this particular swing and animation looks hella jank. Probably gonna get attacked from the back here. It's definitely not advisable just bum rush like this. This actually might result in some injuries, but I need this guy on the ground. Yeah, that's fine. He's taken stun damage, so he technically counts as a KO. This actually was the same way in Xeno 1 as well. It's like as long as there's stun damage, hit the bottom first, and as long as you didn't go completely overkill with it, then yeah. And you actually, it's funny because you actually have a yellow bar that fills up if you're taking stun damage. So I'd expect that to be more of a feature as well. So yeah, so is the story like a continuation or a reset? It's an alternate take on it. So in this one, the same incident that started Xeno 1 occurs. However, there really isn't much gained from it, and the U.S. and Soviet Union are both still around in 2015. They've basically been going on a endless Cold War for like 40 straight years, and since nothing is really gained, the whole alien army thing never really bothers to attack early. So they basically spend all that time setting up a giant space dildo, and I mean that's kind of where it is right now. They keep the Cold War going. They keep doing assassinations that they blame on each other, that the U.S. and Soviet Union blame on each other, and yeah, like the whole idea is that Xenonauts, instead of being the one and only thing in the way, are just there trying to keep everything together. Or more of the thread holding stuff than the hammer being dropped on things, for lack of a better way to put it. Xenonauts was never active. Wait, so the alien invasion came later than Xeno 1? Yeah, pretty much. No, it was active. Like it basically the same thing happens. The Xenonauts get created, and then they're like, okay, we didn't really gain too much out of this. It's just basically a pile of parts. I mean, let's keep it around and keep an eye on that whole invasion thing, but ain't much we can do about it. So they kind of just sit around for forever until they randomly start invading one day. And then about a week after that, a bunch of lasers start vaporizing cities, and yeah. So functionally, you're starting at Independence Day. But yeah, I love this setting. Love, love, love it. Alright, take a few pops of this guy. One thing they said because the system wasn't really made to look super pretty up close, they weren't going to do the whole zooming in thing. I still wish you could. I've always appreciated looking at dicey graphics up close. Yeah, you get a few more movements, I'd say, than Xeno 1. You can take a few more simple shots. Definitely not anywhere on the, firing 3 bursts or whatever else of XCOM, or you're firing 2 bursts in a single shot like XDiv. But still, there's more. Simulate Xenonauts just fell off with X Division earlier this year. Yeah, I was pretty late to it myself. Actually, just on the very cusp of finally finishing it for the first time. After literally a year. Alright, I'll just have you take a pot shot here. Just take it. I don't care that your odds are basically none, just do it. You can also force them to take impossible shots, by the way. You could kind of do that in vanilla, you can do it for sure here. Or in Xeno 1, sorry. I'm used to saying vanilla for that one. Trying to play NG+2? Yeah. Definitely intend to at least try doing, well, the different version of NG+2. Like, NG+2 is in the number. We'll see. I think we just lost somebody. Yep. Boo. So yeah, there's still a bunch of placeholder stuff here, but it's cool. He is really dang cool. Kind of wish that you could make this kind of shot. Like, I wish that this was a little bit more of an open angle, but I can understand why it isn't. Do we just go... I think we just go FB and then... Yeah, just do it. Nice. Alright, whatever, just go there. Alright. Let's go stare out into space. Also, it seems like you're far less likely to suppress your own dudes in this one. Also, shotguns are way less OP. Now, they're still kind of figuring out a lot of the bullet physics type stuff, but definitely feels really satisfying. Alright, this is the guy I never moved last time. Alright, needs 34. Nice. Huh. I wouldn't have thought he'd still be there. Well, nice knowing you, Evan. Thought he'd have enough points to back up. Favorite weapon. Wait, which one? What, the HMGs? Yeah, they're pretty awesome. That guy's just asking for a stun. Yeah, the HMGs seem to be modeled after the kind of rework of heavies from XDiv. Watching Sony using the sniper square strategy, I tried, but still felt shotguns and going aggressive my favorite. Yeah, I feel like everyone's got something that they feel works super well for them in XDiv. It's just funny because you almost never see the same kind of stuff come up twice. Like, personally, I prefer the whole, you know, shield melee and rockets kind of thing. Never seen anyone else try that either. Just like, every time you try something, like, oh, hey. Feels original, I suppose. Like, Dagar is about to restart his run again, too. After taking a little bit of a hiatus at the end of Phase 2. I kind of feel like it would have been nice if there was a sort of, I don't know, some kind of adjustable phase type system for that one, which I don't think mechanically could have been implemented in any way. Which is like, if you're doing really well, the phases jump up, or if you're doing poorly, the phases jump down or something. Let's see, there's no bread and butter, this is what makes this game special? Yep. Very, very true. Like, hell, I have not used snipers the entire time for XDiv, and then today just had one random unit with high accuracy and a Mag 3, which I forgot to check. Now that I think about it, I forgot to go back and actually pick that dang thing up. So that Mag 3 rifle's gone, but either way, point being, they're just instantly throwing out long-range 250s and all that kind of thing. Like, well, that's pretty handy. I don't know. In some ways, it's like it's fair, but also kind of weird how the power creep ends up going in XDiv. It's like, as soon as you unlock something, it feels fantastic, but up until you get there, you get those moments where it's just like, please let me hurt something at least. I had several months where it was just nothing but grind for alloys, basically. Like, when it rains, it pours and all that. Love of the cannon. See, and that's the thing. They'll absolutely vary. Love the Div 3, for example. It's just basically an automatic grenade rifle. Every other one, haven't had any success with them whatsoever. Although recently been loving the numbers behind the Sonic cannon, because it's like 470 damage but no mitigation. It's like, crap, what's even surviving this, honestly? And then, you know, it takes like an entire campaign's worth of resources to make just one. Yeah, by the way, fair warning, as you go on with that game, the resource creep gets insane. Like, just utterly, utterly insane. Like, I kid you not, that particular cannon takes, it's 48 to make the Mark II, and then to make the Mark III, it's an additional 72 cores. So that's gonna take you a while. On top of more or less equal amounts of alloys. And then if you just drop it on the ground one day and accidentally vaporize it, well, all those resources are gone. Are they starving in early phase 2? Shock rockets. Completely worth the investment. I mean, they'll one-shot pretty much every enemy in phase 2. Shouldn't have overmade stuff? Yeah, no. Wolf armor and shock rockets. And axes. You can pretty much duplicate axes. If you get one melee weapon that's in two hands, take the offhand one off, drop it on the ground, open inventory, close it, get a free extra axe. They apparently have no way of actually fixing that bug, so if you just want to give everybody battle axes, there you go. That will also basically finish off every enemy in phase 2. It's a very cost-effective way of doing it. Is it technically abusing a glitch? Yes, but also battle axes, so does it really count? And yeah, these, once again, feel like pointing out that yeah, these UFOs are placeholder. I think they said next patch they're getting the proper ones in there. Alright, this guy's still there. Suppose we should deal with that. I mean, thankfully their accuracy is just as bad. It's that scene from Naked Gun. We'll get you one day, sectoid. Use the door blocking glitch all the time to exploit the shotgun. Fun with door glitches? Oh yeah. Funnily enough, the door glitch, I don't know if it's actually a glitch. I'm starting to think it's an intentional feature, because seriously, it works in this too. So, maybe it is an intentional feature. Let's call it the door holding strategy. Get some Outbreak in our XCOM. Dedicate somebody to just holding a door closed. Like right here. Normally they'd pour out, we're just gonna pop this sucker right here. Get ready with all our batons. Go in there and, well, start going modern day cops on some folks. Since apparently it turned out that in the middle of everything else that's going on, the utter trigger happiness of all our local PDs seems to have come to light. Alright. Well, that's the first time he's ever actually had to reload. Perhaps we should be, I don't know, maybe not doing that strategy. See, some... not a glitch per se, more like a behavior. Yeah, I mean, it's a limitation of the AI, but I don't know if it's intentional or not. Because again, if it wasn't intentional, I don't know what it would be doing here. See, also, how's the air game? Hope they didn't change much, just improved. As this game has the best air game experience from all XCOMmies. I'd say it's improved. So, you showed up right after the coolest moment of the air game. Like, we'll get to the overworld to actually show how that stuff works. But A, you can have support from local, like local groups and things like that. So, for example, they attacked one of my little outpost things, and so the locals sent 3 falcons. Like in this one, you start off with the equivalent of the Foxtrot, except it can dodge now. So you basically get the MiG, but it's actually useful. Finally he gets hit. I'm just playing it safe with this, by the way. This is relatively safe on our end, because this is basically rolling for a chance to miss against every one of these. Anyway, so yeah, A, you can have locals there. B, instead of being a static grid, it'll actually move the map along with you. So if you want to escape, you can escape. If they chase you, like if you want to run away, it's not a matter of getting to the edge of the map, it's a matter of actually outrunning the thing or outmaneuvering it in order to be able to get to the edge. If it wants to chase you, if it's too fast for you to get away from it, there's, yeah, the faster one will get there. So yeah, that's a pretty cool aspect of it. Also means that potentially there can be way more interesting air game stuff going on. You have customization for your jets. So you, aside from different weapon types, you've got different armor types and engine types and all that kind of thing. And then aside from that, the air game music is frickin' sexy. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I'd say overall it's a solid yes out of 10. Also, man, oh man, the other day, finally my Fiverr account ended up recovering from somebody basically being an a-hole and trying to get a job for free, which basically resulted in a bunch of other people like, hey, can you just work for free and give advice on my paperwork for free and all this other stuff? Like, dang it, it's already like $20. Just pay me. Just awkwardly slide away from this door. No! Yeah, I will say there seems to be a very big preference of misses over hits in favor of destruction damage and all that kind of thing, which I personally like, because again, Silent Storm. So we'll see how that pans out in the long run, but so far it's looking real good. I hope it stays that way. Because I personally love when you just basically gotta lay down a crap load of firepower to blow all their stuff out of the way. Feels fantastic. Getting sniped out of cover is not fun, but when it's like 50 bajillion hits and everything gets blown to pieces, it looks so cool. And a zoom. I really want a zoom. Like, that was fair. That was totally fair. He came out in the open. Totally understandable. Meanwhile, this guy's in cover. It's doing a fantastic job. As you can see, this guy's cover, also doing a fantastic job. There's no reason I should be trying to fight him like that. But dang it, that's what I feel like doing. Also, breachables UFO? Yes. Yeah, there are breachable UFOs. They specifically mentioned that what they want to do... looking forward to seeing this after this? Okay. Basically, what they said is that they wanted to function similarly to the Fire in the Hole mod. So, if you've never seen that one, what it consists of is just... It's going to be static UFOs with areas that you can break into. Like right now, this is a model that they were planning on going with for a while, because they wanted to have fully breachable UFOs like UFO defense. A lot of folks are really unhappy about that, and in general, it was really poorly received, because, you know, they... Just like UFO defense, they're basically designed like a giant sardine can, and it looks super out of place, let's be honest. So what they were doing is they were doing basically doing the Fire in the Hole version. So you get your front door, and there's certain weak points on the UFO that you can blow open. So yes, there will be other options for you to get in. Too much more immersive bonus. So yeah, basically Fire in the Hole, pretty fantastic mod. Basically meant like you got a shuttle, you could blow off some panels in it and get in there that way. You could just open up a bunch of doors all over the place. You could go in from the top, apparently, for some of them. It was cool. So yeah. I like playing these for the sort of kind of story that unfolds throughout a campaign, like coming up with stories from all the units and stuff like that, so feels good. Feels good. Do I think they're gonna pop out of there? No. But I want to give these guys a quick second. And yeah, the music's pretty darn neato. It'd be cool if it had really strong resistance, though, like you need to use a C4 or 2 to blow it up. Yeah, you do. No, yeah, so funnily enough, that was actually... There was a glitch with earlier versions of this where machine guns would just shred through UFOs. So yeah, you, like... There was this HMG Golden Age, right? Where you'd essentially have units that could have functionally infinite turn units, Like, we're talking going up to like 200 TUs, right? They had a set cost per each action. I don't know why they decided to go for that system exactly. I think that was an excuse, and they just didn't have the system in place yet. They pretended it was intentional for a while. Again, whether you believe that or not, up to you. Personally, I think it was a please, I need another week to get that working kind of situation. But yeah, so you basically had HMGs that completely shredded through all obstacles, could fire like freaking 30 times in a single round. and and you would just have somebody running around like a predator suit or something, just annihilating half the map in one turn. It was great. I almost wish that that's a game mode that they include at some point. Let's call it ridiculous mode or something. I don't know. Yeah, this was about a year ago though. This was way earlier in development, when they were still just trying to get the engine and everything working. Man, it was so cool though. It was so cool. So you just roll up to a UFO with like 4 units and just nothing but floors left. Ah, beautiful. Come on, hit him. Yeah, these guys have no health, but still. Very good chance of wrecking. As before, a main role of the shotguns is that they're usually going to get their first hits off. We might be able to pull this off. Nope. Or maybe. Alright. Give me the catch. Kapow. Rude. Nobody asked for your opinion, sir. Because apparently your opinion is gun. Extra rude. Yeah, now we're getting the proper XCOM experience. Where like 9 rookies run through a door, 1 survives. Again, still nothing on frickin' Sectoid with a pistol, but still pretty deadly. Yep. Oh, Helios is dead. It's okay, at least some units are making it out. Alright, that's something. They're like Tactics Ogre Archers. Yeah, pretty much. It's not far off. See, the nice thing about the armor system in this, though, is because, yeah, it's just like a straight situational health bonus. It's nice. It's a lot more understandable than, like, how is their damage going to roll against this particular armor table? There we go. Yeah, HMGs are still really good, it's just you can't fire them 30 times in a single round. So all your stats were actually capped off at 100 like they should have been. Like, they literally had that moment where they could just go up to whatever. You could train them in a particular stat, so training is now a background thing for stats at random. Because, man, oh man, that was ridiculous. But yeah, and then this dropship is not a thing anymore. I would like if they still included it as an option. Like, maybe that could be your insane mode. You start off with that suicidal dropship. I mean, it's already in there. I should probably go post on the forums or something like that, asking if they can enforce that dropship for insane mode. You have to unlock your not instantly dying helicopter. Like, I'm legitimately surprised after they made Xeno 1 what exactly they were thinking, making making your dropship completely open on all sides. I mean, that was the whole drawback with the Valkyrie. All your units were completely open at the start of the fight, so you kind of needed power armor to make it work. Anyway, while it's loading, I will be right back. Okie dokie, and back. See, I'm not sure if the revival system is in place yet. I'm like 80% certain it is, but I don't know. Another thing that should probably be mentioned. So yeah, these things will give you different monthly bonuses. This is for A-list. Basically, the way the system works now, instead of trying to go for bases worldwide, you kind of want to build out these little outposts. There's little mini command centers all over the place. So I have another base that's being built over here. But these are the main ones that are going to give you your recruitable scientists, engineers, all that kind of thing. You can't really recruit them infinitely, but you do get people just by going and building out to these areas. So your total cap of scientists, engineers, all that kind of thing will go up as you build those. So, you know, you can hire them out based off that. So a little bit more board game in there. You try to build out because they'll regularly try to attack your posts. So you're basically defending your own stuff as well as the world in general. So I personally really like that aspect of just having to fight them off. If they're attacking, as long as you're in good standing with the locals, they'll send a few jets to go assist. You know, they're basically the basic variants. They're a tier under what you start with. So that's pretty cool. Every time you research something, a month later, the whole world will get them, and you'll get improvements to particular regions. I think it's like the one that's panicking the most gets the most improvement. Alright. Let's say... I think I kind of want accelerated ballistic. I can't really do it yet. But yeah. Alright, so Scions. Cesians are Scions now, by the way. Alright. I forget. There's some issue with the term Cesian, I guess. Anywho, so, most extraterrestrial sightings recorded by our organization over the past 2 decades reference humanized creatures roughly the size of a man with pale gray skin and a disproportionately large head, concerningly often accompanied with reports of severe hallucinations. It appears that we have identified the culprits. The physiology of these scions bears a striking similarity to that of a human, although the musculoskeletal structure and circulatory nervous digestive systems... A little grammar note, shouldn't it be the musculatory skeletal structure? Anyway, either way, etc. vary somewhat from our own, all remain clearly recognizable. A genetic analysis suggests that these creatures possess a fascinating novel DNA nucleotide structure, but frankly, I find it more remarkable still that an extraterrestrial life form has DNA at all. Well, how else would they have people named Dan? And that is how you ruin a joke. Each of the recovered corpses weighs approximately 90 kilograms and possesses a more robust bone structure than that of the average human. Man, these guys are freaking weak. Just kick them over. Actually, wait, kilograms. I don't know what that is in kilograms. I know 90 pounds is nothing. Actually, it's like 130 or something. It's, I guess, fairly normal. Much of the extra mass is concentrated in the torso and serves to protect the organs within the chest cavity, the largest of which appears to be a uterus. What? Implying this creature to be female, or the extraterrestrial equivalent thereof? They're Ladians? Okay. The head consists of a cranial cavity containing an unusually large and highly complex brain that contains several large structures of unknown function. Several small metallic implants were extracted from the brain tissue, but their purpose is similarly unclear. The mouth is small and concealed below folded skin. The underdeveloped tongue and larynx suggest scions are capable of vocalization, but incapable of speech. Weird. It's kind of funny, they got like little tooth gill situations going on up here. The oversized eyes are highly interesting. A light-blocking pigment makes them appear black in normal lighting conditions, but it appears the pigment fades in darkness to allow more light to reach the retina. Scions therefore possess exceptional night vision. Indeed, they may prefer it to daylight. Engaging these creatures in darkness would thus seem highly unwise. Ooh, interesting. Overall, I must say that I find the biology of these creatures puzzling in the extreme. They are at once both utterly alien and deeply familiar. For intelligent life that has arisen elsewhere in the universe to be so similar to humanity is truly remarkable. However, the implications of this remain truly unclear. He's a Mudakin. No one knows what the hell I'm talking about. Alright, let's see. Nectomens? Oh, for God's sake, another one of these? No. Dang it, why are these bots so much of a thing? My channel is functionally non-existent. Why on earth would I get so many of these? Anyway, there we go. Banned. Okay, analysis of the capture data code will provide valuable endgame data plus information on the capabilities of the class of the UFO. Interesting. Okay. Alright, and Scion Engineer. This one's looking all tiny and everything. These are basically your sectoids. It's funny because the standing ones are basically original sectoids, the small ones are your EU sectoids. You got both! The recovered corpse stands barely taller than chest height and possesses a mere 50% of the body mass of the scions we have previously encountered. After thoroughly investigating whether this creature represents an entirely separate subspecies or merely a juvenile form of the standard scion, I've concluded it is neither. The bone structure of the corpse is less robust than that of its larger cousins, lacking much of the protective additional osseous matter around the chest cavity. The head is proportionally smaller and more rounded, containing a brain that entirely lacks several of the unknown sections present in the typical scion brain, while favoring those linked to motor function. The musculature is almost identical, but individual muscles appear smaller and slimmer. By contrast, the hands and eyes are overdeveloped, the slender fingers containing a relative abundance of nerve endings, suggesting they are more sensitive and dexterous than those of a normal scion. The eyes too have a more complex lens structure and are densely packed with retinal sight receptors that imply enhanced vision. The result is a creature that is smaller, less intelligent, and easier to kill than its larger cousins, but with remarkably superior accuracy and reflexes that should mark them out as high-priority targets, depending on their equipment. They seem adapted for complex manual tasks such as engineering, piloting, gunnery roles, and is indeed notable that most of the visible controls within larger scion craft appear tailored to their stature. This level of specialization is inconsistent with a creature being a juvenile specimen, and genetic analysis reveals their DNA too similar to that of their larger brethren for it to represent a separate subspecies. However, I believe the answer to that mystery can be found within the reproductive organs, which, insofar as alien biology maps onto human biology, appear to be male. So they're functionally like, praying mantis or something? The most likely explanation is thus that scions are a species that display extreme sexual dimorphism, with the females growing significantly larger and stronger than the males. Giggity. It is unclear whether this arrangement may have arisen, but it is possible that the gestation period is so long that females have evolved a more rugged physiology to better protect the unborn young, or perhaps that selection pressure favors larger females due to their ability to carry larger broods. I don't know. But yeah. Also, we only have one unit to replace the ones that were lost. I will say it's definitely gotten significantly more deadly in recent times. Only have 4 left in the team now. Though I will say that's kind of the downside here of going for a base early. In the first one, you were basically encouraged to get 3 bases fully up and running within a couple months. In this one, I feel like you can get away with 1 base way easier. Alright, accelerated ballistic weaponry. Though human technology is not yet sufficiently advanced to permit us to replace our conventional ballistic weapons with the sort of magnetic quill gun technology employed by the aliens, that does not mean we cannot employ some of what we have learned to improve our existing weapons. Indeed, the steel-jacketed ammunition used by our organization has precisely the ferromagnetic properties required to support magnetic acceleration. It's a mouthful. Alright. The accelerator takes the form of a black cylindrical casing that can be mounted onto the barrel of any of our existing magnetic weapons. This contains 2 rows of powerful electromagnets of force that, once calibrated to the size and speed of the ammunition, provides a significant boost to the velocity of any projectile, increases killing power by approximately 20%. The magnets employed by these devices are extraterrestrial technology extracted from recovered alien weapons. They are capable of generating a magnetic field many times the strength of existing magnets with a fraction of the power draw, but a bulky power cell is still required to support sustained usage. In order to minimize any effect on handling, this battery is strapped to the user's forearm and feeds power to the accelerator via cable. Upgrading our ballistic weapons would certainly enhance the combat effectiveness of our soldiers. Field tests suggest they would adjust quickly to the modified weapons and consider them a significant improvement over conventional ones. I figure the wire would be kind of a big problem, though. The task would not even be extremely expensive, as extraterrestrial magnets are plentiful in supply? Okay. But extracting them and fitting them proved to be rather a laborious process, and thus best delegated to our engineers. If you wish to do the upgrade, you may do so in our workshop. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about the wire thing. I would kind of prefer an accuracy drop for not having a wire. This is like a weird note, but I'd figure they end up dropping things so often. Like, unless it plugs in from their hand or something as soon as they attach their hand to it. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. So we'll do materials. That previously would give you a jet upgrade and an armor upgrade. And then this is what, like 100k? Because the Mars is 100k, this is 25. 25 and 10 alloys. Alright, well, we have not identified the alloys, but we do have 15 of them. Man, if they're going to be this nervous about entering our airspace, we're going to be screwed pretty quick here. It's almost payday. Randomly nuked a town in South Africa. Come on, payday. And they're doing a raid. Yeah, we're getting reports that extraterrestrial forces are conducting an attack against the local region. Unless we intervene, there won't be any survivors left to tell the story, and the locals are hardly likely to blame the massacre on aliens, are they? Fair. So we gotta go deal with that real quick. Yeah, the deploying agent thing is still a little funky because it doesn't quite come up on the UI. So yeah, they'll just basically, it's just basically you shoot some 10 reduction in their panic over that way. So the Americas are not doing too hot right now, and I only have 4 people to send out. So yeah, generally speaking, seems like starting off with a base and 2 outposts, terrible idea. So I think what we're going to do is try to carefully set these guys up. Alright, Awesomeness. There you go. Yeah, there is a metal system. I don't know whether it's fully functional yet. There you go. So give your Kevlar. Take away pistol. Take away the clip. Don't think you can secondary the launcher. Yeah, it has to be a primary. Kind of want to have somebody that's just doing launcher and SMG, maybe. Because we got our captures, I don't think we need more than that for now. Because we'd kind of need a leader unit, but that option hasn't even shown up yet. Right. Oh, by the way, I should probably mention, the smoke is actually good in this. The smoke is a 100% block. So it's just a wall. So he was on a call sent to me at the stream file. Okie dokie. Well, welcome back to the thingamajig then. I might take Kevlar off of him, actually. Nah, we'll leave it on there. But yeah, you got added to the team here. What kind of secondaries can we give you? Expecting him to be a sitting and shooting role, so we'll give him that. I don't know how exactly we're gonna handle an entire raid with, 4 dudes, but we'll give it a shot. Switch Sven here over to a HMG. Probably replace the flashbang with another smoke. Which, yeah, you can actually fire smoke out of the grenade launcher too. And yeah, I kind of want them all having medkits. The stun batons are friggin' heavy. That'll work. Can you get another smoke? Like I was saying, smokes are 100% guaranteed block. So if you want to force them to run forward, I don't know how that's gonna come into play with lizards, because previous lore was that they couldn't see through smoke, or they could see through smoke, but they couldn't see through fire. So we'll see. All right, there we go. And yeah, I believe it's if your relationship with an area is high enough, you can airstrike it, and they'll just take your word for it. But if it's too low, like it is right now, like I'm sure it probably has to be 0 or something. See, it'd be cool if they had some sort of officer or even perk system to make soldiers more unique. Supposedly they're planning to do something cool with the medals, but I don't know. Or even just a traits one, like somebody developing fear of civilians or closed spaces. Yeah, it would be. I mean, that's actually come up several times. Funnily enough, and I wouldn't have expected this, but I think like 4 or 5 times now the comparison for trying to make something similar to Knight of Lotus's emblem system has come up. Just of all things, because seriously, who remembers Knight of Lotus? I mean, it's one of my favorites, but every time that I'm even talking about the series with anyone, they're like, what's a Knight of Lotus? I don't know. Is it a plant? Is it a type of cake? I don't know. Alright. This map is a toughie. But since it's a raid... Oh, crap. Alright, well, it's Cesians at least. I suppose you can fire from here, can you? 37. Okay, well, you can crouch and fire. That one's not as dangerous. 25%. Can you hit this guy? By the way, pink things are just lacking a texture. I'm assuming that's some new object that they haven't quite figured out yet. Alright. Damaged but not gone. We're functionally playing Newcom in Xenonauts right now. Sent 4 rookies out to go deal with the invasion. But yeah, it really would be cool to have more of those kinds of systems going on, though. I don't know if that's like a beacon or what. Crap. So by the way, a really good mod for EU is Long War Rebalance. It has come a really long way. The creator updates it a lot though, so like every 2 days, so it's hard to finish campaign. Man, that is way too quick, considering that also takes about a year to do. And yeah, Long War is pretty awesome. Funnily enough, Long War 2 kind of sucked until Long War of the Chosen came around. LWOTC is pretty fantastic. Ah, crap. Sunif. No! Stop mind controlling people. Alright. First order of business, patch yourself up. Your balance changed a lot of mechanics, so it feels like a complete new game. Hopefully it fixes a lot of the... Does it have any option for a more reasonable length campaign? By the way, Mind War is basically like you're gonna get mind controlled, but you have a second to react. Also, we're just gonna go ahead and nullify this guy real quick. It's like right there, even if we wanted to hit him, we can't. As I understand, they're still working out the mechanics of this thing. And then this guy's just going to continue sitting back here. What bug you asked if they fixed? Wait, for which thing are we talking about right now? Also, that's interesting. They did their little head grab thing. Like, it was okay. It was actually about campaign length. Like, do they have an option for a more reasonable length in terms of the game? Because I will say, as much as I love XDiv, I wish it wasn't as long. Like, I wish there was some option to speed it up a little bit. Because as far as I've been told, I've been rushing through that campaign like nobody's business, and yet still it's taken a year. Probably down to the last couple missions now, but like, dude. I'm gonna go see what's changed in it. I'd love to give that a look. Is it the same people that made the original Long War, by the way? The second wave option that shortens Long War campaign by about 50%. Sounds good to me. Cause yeah, I love the mechanics of that one, but hot dang, it's kind of nuts, you know. Also, yeah, Mind War is basically you get warned of your mind control one turn ahead of time. They will control them for a turn, and then you get them back. They can potentially get more use out of it. You can potentially get more use out of it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so that thing still doesn't quite work right, but that's fine. Guy's currently unarmed, so we'll just go ahead and pop this in your backpack. And call that a turn. Not the same people? Okay. Oh no. I didn't know Shiv... Yeah. Should have paid attention to the icon. That could be a problem. Modification of a modification, the popular Long War 1.0 was amazing and very successful, however there's room for improvement. First mission is challenging. It is intended to act as a litmus test in setting difficulty. Okay, so not overkill and just spamming grenades and everything then? Normal difficulty is easier and impossible is harder. I wonder if there's a Beagle campaign to watch on that one. I feel like there probably is. Also, this guy's bleeding real bad, ain't he? Anyway, they got their one attack off with a... No. That is just plain rude. 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 We're getting mine screwed in the brain hole real hard. Alright. Ain't much we can do here. Try to actually hit him this time. Yeah, there's still some wild stuff going on with this grenade launcher. There we go. Yeah, the heavy launcher, I will say it's doing a little better now. The arcing projectile thing would, like, you'd fire it and it would bounce off this and then bounce off this wall and then just come back and hit him right in the face. Or you'd fire it next to a wall and it would just fly up and fly straight down at your feet, or it would just go all over the place. Now it's more of like a cannon. See if they readjust the name for that at some point. But yeah, I think I prefer this version a lot. Are we winning? If we're winning in terms of having a good time, yes. If we're winning in terms of not having the entire team dead, then not so much. Congratulations, you made it a whole 3 missions in this, in Xeno 2. Then kind of randomly went down in a shootout that never ended that was very reminiscent of that one scene from Naked Gun. RNG eventually said no. So they seem to still be dedicating turns to keeping control in this guy for some reason. which actually is potentially beneficial, because we know the Scion guy is up there. I don't think I have a reload for this grenade rifle, and I sure hope he can't reaction fire with it. But it's probably sensible to start moving up to try to take him out, so maybe we'll have a chance against the rest of the map. We'll see. If winning is having a good time, then sure. Look at the dead bodies of our friends, some of them are on fire. Everyone's gotta have a party somehow, man. I mean, we hit that one guy in the mouth with a grenade, so that works. Please don't shoot at our friend. Yeah, one of them is mind-controlled, by the way. He's unarmed, but he's just running around mind-controlled. Oh no. The Scion has decided to do new things. Alright, well, we'll put his gun down in a sec. Now, I'm gonna need you to step over here. Just boop this guy in the noggin with a grenade if you could. Nice. Didn't see how much of that did due to shenanigans. But that'll do, that'll do. Alright, this guy's about to get mind controlled, so what we're gonna do is run this way. By the way, the putting it in your backpack trick doesn't work in this one. They'll just pull the gun right out of their backpack and shoot you anyway. However, the ground they haven't quite figured out yet, so that's a plus. That one dude is still mind controlled for some reason. I really hope that's not a bug and permanent. Those 3D civilians look funny. Did they add any benefit to the belt? Yeah, the belt is just quicker to use. So it's about the same. Just any access to the belt is going to be quicker than the backpack. Yeah, I think we might be running into an issue. And yeah, the 3D civilians have looked funny the whole time. Hopefully that'll change. We'll see. Nice. Do we get our people back now? At least one of them got back, okay. So that's good. He's still under Mind War for the time being, but I think we're good. Should probably see if we brought any stun batons along to see if the knockout and revive trick still works. That made sense to me that the belt had the same cost as the backpack. Wait, it did? I always thought it was slightly faster, but yeah, at least in X-Div, it worked the same way that the belt's faster. It seems to work the same way in this one, that it's dramatically faster to use anything on the belt. Only downside is you can't keep a medkit on your belt anymore. Let's see. Finally beat StarCraft 1 Remastered Cartoon Edition. It was nowhere near as good as the 90s me remembered. I could write a whole essay on how storytelling in video games has improved since the 90s, and I would read the hell out of it. You should do it. Do it! Oh my. Everything's... Whoa! Hello. Come on. Yes! It's so free! Ah, beautiful. Oh, I think we got our dude back. Nice. Ah, glorious. I mean, they're all still there, so that part sucks, but hey, we did something. Now, can I actually use this guy's Psyamp? What? Huh. Okay, well, I guess we're not using that. Go get this. And I guess we haven't gotten our dude back? I don't know what's going on, but they're all at least injured, so that should be something. But yeah, so the story wasn't up to your liking then? I mean, I assume at least the gameplay still holds up, right? Alright, they're all just injuring themselves repeatedly. Won't say no to that. how awesome will it be if we can still somehow pull this off. Alright. Pop these guys. Nice. Still 18 points. It wouldn't be enough to duck away, though. Not sure if this guy's out of range or what, but certainly won't say no. So come on, CNC Kane are still good for. Oh yeah. Funnily enough, I recently watched through a whole bunch of the scenes from the first one, and hell, even CNC 2, or Red Alert, sorry. It's just beautifully cheesy. I think it all just comes down to whether they took themselves seriously or not. Actually, a cool mix of both cheesy but still kind of taking it seriously. There's Lords of Magic there. I was recently watching through a run of that. And, like, they still try to take it seriously and all that, but, you know, it works. Alright, didn't hit anyone with that one. I think I'm gonna need this guy's HMG. Running pretty low on ammo there. Yeah, I think they're all just gravitating towards the middle of the map. This might be an AI bug. See, the concept is good, but everything interesting happens off screen, and the dialogue is just so bad. It's a game that's easy to remember as being great, but painful to re-experience in the year of the Pope Saridan 13th of Lotus 2020. Fair. Hell, anyone remember Empire Earth? Like, I remember that being this amazing epic where everything, you know, is going through all these different bits of history, and you're going around and, like, fighting cavemen with mechs and stuff like that, and going back to it, it's nauseatingly difficult to look at. It's hell, some of the one that I had came with this DLC expansion thing that just it seriously gives Resident Evil 1 like just a complete run for its money. It could just get that thing nominated for awards with how bad it is. So I really hope they take some of X Division Tech Tree ideas for Xeno 2. They have. Like, for one thing, you're already starting off with the ballistic and energy split, which is pretty interesting, which, again, was a thing in Xeno 1. It's just that they didn't make it as apparent as they could have. They kind of backpedaled off it a little bit. There we go. These guys aren't regenerating, by the way, just to have that clear. They don't have any kind of recovery options. I think they're probably just going to sit there. They've probably bugged out. But yeah, so they had some of that. The randomization and stuff like that has always been a thing. That was a base system thing. And then, yeah, needing certain parts to complete a whole set in order to be able to move on with your research, that's also a default thing. You just, usually you ended up getting them at the same time. Nice, okay. Yeah, it's all purple. I thought there was a Scion there for a sec. So yeah, all their psychic influence seems to be gone. Let's have you crouch over here. Now let's see. Honestly don't remember CNC anymore, but I believe it's better than Warcraft 1 and StarCraft. So you think Warcraft 3 is a good game with some bad dialogue at times, and going to replay StarCraft 2, which I think is pretty solid. I remember watching a bunch of scenes of StarCraft, and it seemed really solid. I mean, Warcraft seemed to be all campy and cheesy and stuff, so that seems to go in its favor. Now, that stuff tends to age pretty well. I mean, I was watching this... I think I was mentioning it just a second ago, I was watching this run of Lord's Magic recently. That was pretty neat. Like, in terms of, is it campy, is it not? I don't know, but it's pretty neat to watch. Like, I wouldn't say it's campy as much as really trying to be Arthurian, I guess, would be the way to put it. Also, one interesting change. 1 point to turn instead of 2 when crouching. Alright, let's see if this continues, see if we can still pull this off. It'd be amazing if we could still pull it off. So I like the human campaign for StarCraft 2, stopped midway through the Zerg one though, that's not that good, never got to the Protoss one. Like the change of primary and secondary weapon so much instead of hands. Yeah, it's nice. It's basically system implementing what people were already doing, or at least finding ways to do. God, I love the HMGs. Now, I don't know if we're supposed to go break whatever that thing is or not. But I think we're gonna have to go fight our own guy, who's running around completely disarmed somewhere. Yeah, there he is. Nope, there's one of those guys. Nope, nope. It's a party. This pile of Cesians. Ah, crap. Alright, you got a shot on these a-holes. You can go ahead and drop it for now. Hopefully he actually comes back. See, no human being has beaten human / Zerg / Protoss / Capstone for StarCraft 2. Otherwise we'd be all talking about how insane that ending was. It had an ending? Right, he's under Mind War. Alright, I'm gonna need you to hit some of these shots, because you only have 5 attacks left. Okay, resisted Mind War. All well and good, but I'm not sure where that leaves this, because I'd assume it's 2 Scions and a other Scion. What in the hell is going on? I don't even know what they're firing at right now. Okay, so we got him back, but only kind of. Alright, 1 down, 1 suppressed. Let's go back to where your gun is, or I guess it's over here. Let's see. Spouse also didn't care for the Zerg one, but loved Wings of Liberty. Yeah, I heard really good things about Wings of Liberty. Actually, watched a few scenes out of it that looked really cool. Didn't know what was going on, but dang, it looked pretty. Let's see, she's really liking Legacy of the Void, so may want to push through just to see it. No, they put in the panic system. Alright. Yeah, they actually nerfed the fire rate of these things. They used to be able to fire twice for the HMGs. Now they've got... I mean, they've still got the most burst per shot, but it's 5, but they can only fire once. Oh, crap. Schvizzle, why? Resist the Mind War, man. Come on, take it out, please. Alright. Let's Suppose now we find out if we're actually meant to be, you know, doing certain things here. Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to blow up that purple thing. Or if we're supposed to finish him off. No, no, that is BS. Please don't do that. Please don't end the friggin' fight right here because of shenanigans. Wait, who do you see? Oh, the other guy sees someone. Alright, and do they see the Scion? Yes. So I can suppress them. I don't know if that stops their mind war or not. Hopefully it does. Alright, so he panicked. So that part, the mind war system, I like. Because you don't have that BS like, oh, they're suddenly mind-controlled with no possible lead-up to it. So that part's nice. So in this case, they're like, just so you know, they're getting mentally attacked. He's gonna panic and run away now. Okay. Now, what can this other guy do? Can grab a weapon from here and maybe take out this one? Or his gun magically reloaded itself upon getting mind controlled, sure. Why not? Maybe I should have just run away then. Crap. Please miss. Get resisted. Alright, injured. Ah, crap. I was gonna say injured but alive. If I'd known about the gun reloading thing, I would have just gone for the Scion. Okay, please resist it. It might just auto-end it as soon as he's mind-controlled. I hope it doesn't, though. Because it always bugs me when they auto-end it the second the mind control happens. Okay. Alright. Grab your HMG. Take out the guy that's close. Take out the guy that's far. This is still doable. This is still technically winnable. Alright, no reaction fire yet. Alright, what you gonna do? Yeah, the parts that are here I really, really like. He's injured, I only need a single shot on him. Probably worth just stepping forward, taking a spray and pray instead of doing the kneel. Only got a few attacks left. I know where one of them's going to be sitting. And he's gone. Probably ran back in there or something. Alright, go this way. What I want to do is approach from this side. See, from the field of the game, looks now, let's see, from the field, the game looks now, what guess for release would you do? I think they said sometime this year, actually. Okay, got a pot shot. Or you can take a very accurate shot. Nah, missed. I mean, obviously with the virus they got pushed back a little bit, but still there's technically the possibility. I mean, I think you can go buy the pre-release build right now. I mean, honestly, it kind of blows my mind. Because Phoenix Point wanted 50 bucks for the buy-in, these guys wanted 20, so... They're like, would you like to pay 50 bucks for a giant pile of jank, or would you like to buy 20 bucks and a nice dinner for your family? You know, for, for what is essentially going to be... what seems to be, anyway, a far more interesting game. Oh, come on, would you hit the guy already? I think I might have to run by and get another gun somewhere, because you can't seem to hit this guy. So hopefully not EA release, though. I'm really excited that they'll be using Unity. Unity developer, hope they make it mod friendly. They've already said that they're making, that they're releasing mod tools and everything. Come on. God dang, about time. Oh, you hit the wrong gun. Okay. Took out somebody entirely different. Why not? But yeah, we know that AI infinite ammo apparently applies to units that are mind-controlled. Potentially a way to cheese infinite ammo. And take this pistol. Oh, whoops. Yeah, it doesn't have the points to do that. Can't just crouch down. He also might just not be able to use it. Crap. Well, okay, I can't use that. Curiosity, did this local guy have a gun? Yeah, it's a shotgun. Perfect. Alright, we'll see if he's able to do some snipes with that. That's enough enough shots to make some reasonable snipes, if that's the case. Again, thankfully the AI is bugged out right now. Otherwise this would 100% have been... Well, it's actually unclear whether it would have been a different scenario, because I'm pretty sure we also wouldn't have lost the guy to permanent mind control, too. Okay, not allowed to take that shot. Or are we technically allowed to? No, we're still allowed to try. Alright. Okay, we're gonna take a bunch of 0% shots then. Yeah, I think he might be out of ammo or something. Alright, crouch it. Or do you have to be standing for those? Ah. I see what the cheese is. He's got a fire behind him. See, is your current / upcoming list updated? God no, I forgot those even existed. Current / upcoming is basically hopefully finishing off XDiv tomorrow. What's the usual stream times? Whenever my kids are doing okay. No, it's random. Usually it's either like 7 to 10-ish Eastern Standard Time, or noon to 3-ish Eastern Standard Time, give or take. This can vary on the day. Sometimes it just randomly changes for no apparent reason. So, yeah. So this trick worked in previous versions, I'm not sure if it'll work now. But yeah, basically most of the time I'm watching the kiddos and doing whatever work I can from home, so yeah, it'll vary. It'll vary pretty wildly. Alright, yeah, I think we're gonna have to run in there. So you saw you started Secret of Evermore, how'd you like it? I need to watch that stream. Friend of mine had the rules of the city square from that game, and on the door to his room. I absolutely love it. Basically, it was supposed to be a 1 life run, which pretty much ended immediately on the first boss there, so we're going to be restarting that, actually. Please don't reaction me, and I'm dead. Well, no pancakes on Monday, no juggling, no barking like a seal. Now, interestingly, we still technically have a guy that's alive, so the game doesn't seem to know how to handle that. Because one guy gets stuck in permanent mind control. But yeah, I didn't get very far in it. So, the first time I ever played it... Here, let's try loading the save real quick. See what it does. Let's see... But anyway, yeah. Apparently it stacks up damage under certain circumstances. So basically what had happened... Wait, what? What happens if we just hit quit? Does that go to the main menu, or... Yeah, it goes to the main menu. But yeah, apparently it stacks damage, so what happened, I got knocked back by the boss, surrounded by about 3 worms, and while they were all doing the whole iframe thing, it continuously beat the crap out of my dude. So that was fun, and then yeah, I kind of thought it was all well and good, so I think they had like, what was it, 60 out of 67 health or something like that, and then they got hit for... I think a 17 or so on the first knockback, and then they took a 48 as soon as they got out of their flashing animation. So it was just stacking damage the whole time. I'm like, oh, that's a good mechanic to know about. Somebody tells me right after the game over screen. Is he still looking forward to Fell Seal 2? Should wrap up Trials of Mana Remake. That you should. You find all them cacti yet? But yeah, really looking forward to Fell Seal. Oh yeah, so as far as upcoming stuff, yeah, XDiv hopefully dies tomorrow. We'll see. I think it's over tomorrow. Then Level 1 Tactics Ogre Vanilla is still being ground out. Would say sometime within the next 2 weeks. One Vision Solo is just at some point. Yeah, I don't know what we do with this situation then. I guess we're just abort, because one of my dudes got deleted. Missing 20 little cactus sightings. Well, get on it! Jeez, what are you telling me about it for now? What if I make him crouch? Let's see, original or PSP? Yeah, Tactics Ogre Vanilla in terms of the PSP version. So it was basically using a cheat to permanently leave it on no experience ever. And currently at the very end of Chapter 2. And I kind of made a mistake on that one, because it was... Originally I had routed it out for the vanilla route, which gave plenty of potential options for handling a lot of things. For some reason, Genius Me was like, hey, you know what, let's go through Law. You get so many more recruits on Law, let's just make this change at the last minute without really thinking it through. And then it turns out that, yeah, you only get 2 actual recruits that you can scavenge skills off of by the end of Chapter 2, which basically means that in order to get scavengeable skills, you need to actually get skills that can be learned at level 1, which is only possible through a Warlock, which you can't get until Chapter 3, which basically means just kind of brute forcing it through all of Chapter 2, which unfortunately has several back-to-back annoying fights in a row, because you got the Vice fight, you got the Old Lady fight, and then you got what's her face? Friggin' Terranite and Almorica guy. And then, after getting through that third fight, I ended up accidentally overwriting the save state right before the fight, because I didn't want to manual save it due to shenanigans. So, at any rate, at this point I was like, screw it, we're just getting base stat cards, and we're just going to power grind until this is a curb stomp. Because I don't think anyone wants to sit through a third episode of just like, let's faceplant through Almorica over and over again. So, anyway, it's an interesting challenge. It's just in a weird spot right now. Okay, we're just gonna abort because I don't think... Yeah, last guy just auto dies, I guess. That's weird. That's super weird. Gonna have to put that in the bug report. But well... It happens. Yes, thank you for the fission mailed. Can I has game now, please? Oh, game go crash. It went splat. There we go. Do I have enough XCOMs going on? It's funny, all the rest of the XCOMs, like the ones nobody talks about, are way down here at the bottom. Like Interceptor and Enforcer and all that kind of thing. And a bunch of other ones that I got as part of Humble Bundle deals that I'll never ever actually take a look at. I meant to look at Frozen Synapse, actually. I have that installed on my laptop. That mess is pretty good. So yeah, we might do a thing of Frozen Synapse at some point. Oh yeah, other upcoming stuff. So yeah, Tactics Ogre-wise... The plans to do consumable only at some point. We're going to finish the level 1 runs and the solo runs. Solo vanilla is already done. Solo 1 Vision is close to beating the main campaign anyway. And what else? Yeah, consumable only. I think that's going to be mostly a vanilla one. If there's any way to do it in 1 Vision, we'll see. Then want to do pacifist runs of Xenonauts. And potentially Tactics Ogre at some point, but that's just kind of a whenever down the line kind of thing. What else? Still finishing off Chimera Squad at some point. Like it, I've heard from a few folks that it generally gets kind of a negative reception right now if you try to stream it due to all the current politics around certain situations. Let's see, Felseal Monster Run versus FFT Cerebro Monster Run. See, but it's tradition that I completely forget to finish the FFT Cerebro Monster Run. Like, will I actually finish it before finishing Felseal 4 more times? Like I keep saying I will? That's the question. And, like, again, I love the Cerebro mod. I don't know why I keep forgetting to do the Monster Run. I legitimately just keep forgetting it exists. Oh well. My wife likes to joke that I have very random Alzheimer's. So yeah, Felseal Monster Run I think has to be second time around. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. We might actually have to leave Xeno 2 here for the day because of this weird bug. Let me go check the forums real quick if anybody else ran into this. Because literally what's happening here, the game is crashing if I try to abort because it doesn't know what to do with that last unit. It doesn't know how to parse this situation. He instantly dies if I end it, but apparently it doesn't know what that means. Let's see. Xeno 2, bug reports. Alright, let's see. Somebody responded to the double air encounter crash. Do you have a save for that? Well... Shoot, I think I have a code. Hang on, let me double check one thing, because I just noticed somebody replied. See if this one actually loads properly. No, it's in version 3. Shoot. Alright, yeah, I think we'll be wrapping this one up real quick and sending it over to fix this potential bug. What can you do, right? Unless does Tilde give some kind of commands? No. Yeah, we'll leave it as is. I'll go upload it to them. And then, yeah, tomorrow we'll hopefully finally finish Octave. So, yeah, I'm personally loving the setting of this one. Loving where they're going with it. Really liking the pressure that they go for here. Like, the overall feel of both Xenonauts games is pretty unique in the genre, I feel. Because as much as there's usually an implied threat, there usually isn't as much of a, like, you get on your feet or you get steamrolled immediately type of situation. So that's cool. But yeah, I think we'll be leaving it there for today, since for some dumb reason I decided to go with an Iron Man save. And let's be honest, neither game is known for particularly stable Iron Man saves. But okay, we'll leave it there for now. You guys have a fantastic one, and yeah, soon. Those other runs are happening soon, I promise. I just want X-Dip to be done. I'm forgetting something, aren't I? I suppose there's also, like, the last 2 episodes of that Fantasy Star 4 Iron Man run from, like, 4 years ago. So there's that. Nobody even remembers that one. Except for Mr. Cow, which I wish he would respond. I haven't heard from him in a while. I got his stuff ready to go and everything. Anyway, so, have a good one. Take care. Stay